But what we brought from the U.S. were the incentive programs, so that we went by piecework. So as long as you're producing a good quality product, you hit your minimum production. Yeah. Every piece that you make over there is extra money for you. So the average salary, although the minimum wage was $45, most of them, back then, most of them were making between $75 to $85 a month.
So they're catching up with you on your morning jog, saying, "Hello, sir.
And
you have a job for me." Yeah.
It didn't start that way. I mean, I don't know how much detail you want to go in on this side, but when we came here, as I mentioned, there were 200 factories here already. Yeah.
And when you say factory, there's a small, medium, large, but mostly in the small and medium range.
Yeah, small and medium. Some of them were quite big. I mean, like several thousand employees. They also had manufacturing in, our competition was Vietnam. So for a lot of the manufacturers liked Vietnam in the sense that they felt that the production was much higher in Vietnam than in Cambodia, and that had a lot to do with how dynamic the staff were, from going from one, just their ability, how quickly they could sew. I mean, the faster you can sew, the bigger the profits.
Yep, that's right. Yeah.
So what we faced in the beginning was, it was quite difficult. Trying to get the people to hit the minimum numbers, right? Because we were paying them the basic salary, but they felt like, you could see a ramp up of the production, but before it reached the minimum production, it would start to taper off and fall, because they felt like, there's, no matter how hard we work, right? We're never going to reach that minimum where we can make that extra money. So then they became lazy, because they figured it was an impossible target.
What's the point? Yeah.
So what we ended up doing was we brought some experienced sewers from the U.S. So let's say for this product, the minimum, just like napkins. We did a lot of institutional stuff. Yeah. So you have to make 600 napkins a day, right? And anything over 600 napkins, then you get your incentive, right? So our U.S. sewers were making 1,000, 1,200, 1,300 pieces a day, right? So over double of the minimum. Once we brought them over, they stayed for a couple weeks. Some stayed for a month, right? Trying to teach them how to do it, and showing them,
visually, even
seeing. Of course, we showed them how to do it, but they'd never seen anybody do it at that speed. Right?
And I'll cut in there for a minute. And this is, I reckon, not just in Cambodia, but I know in Cambodia as well, and especially during those earlier years. It'd be easy for us as a foreigner to come over and to, tell those that are working with us or working for us, this is the way you need to do it. But there's in the back of their mind, they're thinking, he's just a foreigner. He doesn't understand.
Yeah. He's not here sewing. I can't sew that many.
Yeah. He's just saying that because he's a foreigner and he doesn't understand us. Exactly. So you have to break through that sometimes.
I could show them how to do it, right? But I was nowhere near the speed that they needed to be.
Right. You can't. That's not your role to sew. 1,200 pieces a day.
Right. Our Cambodian sewers. Once the first few started breaking that barrier,
we can do it.
We can do it. Yeah. The numbers started to increase exponentially. Wow. So the best sewers that we had were from Cambodia, and they were hitting 1,500 1,500 pieces on average. Wow. So of course there's some people who couldn't do it, but it turned into a competition. And people were making really good money.
And there really is that component back then, but even now.
Incentives,
and incentives, but in also in in any business endeavor here in Cambodia, oftentimes there still is a capacity building component
Right.
to many or most, maybe even business initiatives here in Cambodia. That you have a wealth of experience and exposure, and so you can kind of see where things could be or should be. But there's going to be a little bit of hand-holding in that process to bring the team to where they can finally do it. But once that happens, it's also extremely fulfilling as well.
Rewarding. The boom times in Cambodia, there was a lot of promotion to develop the Sihanoukville area along the coast. Yep. So there were a lot of investors that came in here to take advantage of the online gaming space and the casino business.
Right. Yeah.
Which brought in a lot of money for the country, a lot of development to the country. Yep. But there was a lot of bad that came in with the good. Yeah. So the government's been trying to clean up the mess because they wanted to bring it in quickly, and when they saw how it was benefiting the country, they made it very easy, to an extent too easy for the good as well as the bad to come in. Right. So there was a lot of riffraff that came in. Yeah. And the last few years, the government's been working to clean everything up. Yeah.
And I'll say this as well, from those early years where, 1990s, where, very few paved roads and really the sky was the limit in so many industries. That was, Cambodia has gone through different seasons, even until now. And, rebuilding a country from the devastation that Cambodia experienced is not an easy task, and so, how, and to be really frank, and I hope I don't speak out of line here, but, if you look at Cambodia in 1979, let's say, for instance, Cambodia was not just devastated, but bankrupt, to a degree. I don't know if that's the right word, but, it was a blank slate, and how do you rebuild what's the textbook method for rebuilding a devastated, bankrupt nation because of, war and genocide that the country went through, back in the 70s. I don't know if there is a textbook way. And so there's been some, let's try this and try this. And, some things have been a little bit, too far leaning one direction, but then, like you said, then the adjustments are made later on.
So I think it's just, you have these transition stages, as you were mentioning. Of course, the first avenue is donor nations. You get a lot of donations. You get NGOs coming in to try to help support. Yep. That can only take you so far. I mean, you need to get to a stage where your country can stand up on its own two feet. Yep.
When I first came here, I remember there were still, trucks with, United Nations World Food Program and all that, doing the rice donations all throughout the country and all that. Yeah. That was.
You can't be complacent. You can't rely on that forever.
You can't rely on it though. Yeah.
So, again, there was good and there was bad, but I think it was a necessity. Yeah. It really jump-started rapid growth in Cambodia. I mean, look, the textile industry grew very fast, and that was a very, very big industry. Yep. One of the biggest exports for Cambodia. Yep. But the speed in which you could bring money into the country by allowing these casinos to come in was unbelievable. Yeah. There was a point between 2015 to 2018 during that period, when you looked outside, all you saw were cranes and construction going
everywhere.
on everywhere.
Yeah, that's right.
And land prices skyrocketed.
Yep.
And that brought in so much money to the country. And it was, again, money, it was all new money. Land that was worth nothing suddenly became millions of dollars, and it put a lot of money into the hands of all these potential new entrepreneurs.
Yep.
So a lot of the infrastructure that came from private money, but it was all new money, mainly from China, people coming in and wanting to develop, and the land prices skyrocketed, and a lot of money came in. So, and during that 3 to 5 year period, it just the whole landscape transformed.